Are you burned out at your job and ready to leave? Well, let's make sure that your next employer doesn't cause burnout again. Hi, I'm Michelle, a career coach helping burned out workers over 40 leave their 9 to 5 and start solo businesses. And today we are discussing 5 interview questions you might want to ask to make sure your future employer supports a burnout-free work-life balance. So, what are current job search issues that you're having right now? Drop those struggles down in the comments below because we are going to fix those together. Now, my last video was on a negotiation strategy to get what you want out of your current job. But if you tried that strategy and you are still ready to call it quits, you are not alone. There was a recent study by the American Psychological Association that said that 60% of workers, that is 60, said that work-related stress left them feeling a lack of motivation and super low energy about their current job. And 50% of burned out workers are actively on a job hunt. But now, unfortunately, there is a 50% chance that your next job will be any better than your current one, unless you ask the right questions. So let's fix that. Now, before you interview, I want you to identify your burnout gap from your current job. What is the driving force behind your desire to leave? Is it an unmanageable workload? Is it a lack of flexibility? Is it a toxic culture? And then after you've written those things down, I also want you to write down your non-negotiables. Now, non-negotiables are things like needing a better work-life balance or opportunities for professional growth or needing a particular salary. For example, I worked with a client who left her job because the constant overtime left her exhausted 24/7. Even when she was away from work in the evenings and on the weekends, she was tired, so she never recouped from work. And so she identified that her next job needed to have clear boundaries. And knowing your gap helps you identify the questions, the right questions that you need to ask so that you're finding the right fit. And you want to leverage the interview process to ensure that you are moving from a less desirable situation to a fantastic one that is going to progress your professional goals. Now, as we get into the questions, let me give you the 3 things that I tell all of my clients to do. Number 1, I tell them that when they go to an on-site interview, to observe everything, take it all in, even the little incidental communication that happens between employees. Is it a relaxed feeling? Are people friendly with one another? Or is their commentary kind of terse? Make note of people's body language. And number 2, ask delving questions in the interview process, which is what this whole video is about. And then number 3, after the interview, make sure immediately after, when you get in your car, that you take a few minutes to process what just happened and make notes while everything is still fresh in your head. Okay, we are not going to delay anymore. Let's go ahead and get into those 5 questions. Question number 1 is about company culture. Can you describe a recent situation or decision that reflects the company's core values? And this shows whether or not they abide by their mission, their vision, their values, or if it's all just lip service. A vague answer could be a red flag that it is a misaligned culture and it could lead to burnout. Question number 2 has to deal with management style. How do you provide feedback to your team, both formally and informally? You're checking to see how your performance is going to be evaluated. If they can't clearly explain how they evaluate performance of employees, then that is a definite red flag that expectations might be unclear, and that can lead to burnout. All right, question number 3. Now, question number 3 has to do with work-life balance. What happens when a team faces a tight deadline or an unexpected spike in workload. This reveals expectations and how often crunch times happen. If they expect constant overwork, that is definitely a burnout risk. And watch for answers that downplay frequency. Now, question number 4 is about team dynamics. How often do team members collaborate across departments or roles? Now, this shows the energy and the synergy of a team. A lack of collaboration can often lead to isolation, which fuels burnout. Question number 5 is all about growth and development. How does the company handle feedback from employees about improving processes or culture? This checks to see if they're open to change. A rigid environment that ignores feedback can trap you in the same burnout cycle. Listen for unclear and especially defensive answers. A thorough interview process with a screening, multiple interviews, and an offer shows that both sides are committed. But if it feels rushed or disjointed, then that's a warning sign. You're pursuing a partnership, not just a job. So a reminder to take time to reflect on that interview right after. So here are your action steps. Before your next interview, make sure you identify that burnout gap and then select 2 to 3 of these interview questions to ask. And after the interview, make sure that you take note of how they answered. Reflect on their responses. You want to make sure that what they say aligns with your non-negotiables. To recap, we dove deep into 5 interview questions to make sure that your next job doesn't burn you out again. If you got value from this video, please give that like button a tap and subscribe to get more burnout recovery tips and strategies to leave your 9 to 5. So have you faced burnout from a past job? Please share your story in the comments below. Now, if you haven't been able to try my negotiation strategy yet, click the video that's showing on your screen now, and I'll see you in the next one.